Hey everyone, it's Moonkin FTW and welcome back to another episode of the RCT3 Coaster Challenge. Today we're tackling the Dinghy slide, I believe it's called Dinghy or Dinghy slide. And this is again another coaster type that I've pretty much never made in RCT3. I've made it a couple of times in RCT1 and 2, but generally speaking I have very little experience with this roller coaster type, or yeah, I'm not sure if you can even call it a roller coaster, but this slide type if you will. Which is exactly why the layout is a little bit janky, but I still kind of like it. So I'm using multiple lift hills because there's a lot of friction with these boats. So and the way to kind of counter that and make sure that there's still a decent amount of ride time, I actually use 3 lift hills, which is a bit nuts. But yeah, so it's a pretty basic layout. Again, you can't use inversions. There's no like crazy helixes or whatever overbank turns or whatever it is. It just doesn't exist here. But I'm going to do something different for this ride. So first of all, I wanted to make a basic station, which does look very nice. But then I thought to myself, you know what? This does look pretty cool. But how cool would it be if I would actually use some decent theming for this? And I will do that in just a bit. Now for this one, I did want to make some sort of custom supports. They don't quite fit the water slide, unfortunately, so sometimes they poke through. But you can't have everything with mods or custom supports like that. So you just gotta work with what you have. But I'm still deciding to do it because they look miles better than the original supports. So we're just gonna go over the entire track and place wherever I can find a good spot for them. And once again, using the grid to place them properly. I'm gonna save it. And from here on, I'm going to kill all the standard supports. And here I'm going to load up the kind of the pre-made slant support design, if you will, that I can add towards all the supports. So the lower ones, the higher ones, I'll have a pre-made design for that. And that fits quite decently. So you can see here, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to make this. It's actually quite effective. And the supports look pretty decent, if you ask me. So we're just going to finish that up. And yeah, like I said, it's pretty easy to do now that I have these pre-made designs. That's one great thing about RCT3. And I'm going to place some footers on the missing supports here. So things are coming together quite nicely. And then at some point, which you'll see in the video, I decided to overhaul this complete... again, I can't really call it a roller coaster, I'll just call it a slide. But... changing the color scheme here, trying to see if everything fits. Using Beastie's path mods again to try and make things look a bit more interesting. So yeah, using that, it looks pretty good. Adding some foliage, of course. And yeah, then I thought to myself, you know what would be really cool if I could actually make it some sort of like a tropical theming with this water slide. So first of all, I want to just see if the pacing of the slide is okay. So we got a lower lift hill and a higher lift hill with a lot of speed. You can see some of the supports still kind of poking through, and I'll fix that a little bit later, but generally speaking, the layout is pretty cool. So from here on out, like I said, we're going to change the theming. So first of all, the station, because the station is a very nice but pretty basic design. And what I'm doing is I am using some standard blocks, but I'm going to change the color scheme to kind of brown beige, which will kind of fit the wood structure or wooden theming of the tropical theming, if you will. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a nice little yeah, like a hut, if you will, for the station. And I think that looks very nice. And from here on out, I'm actually gonna add some extra buildings. So this is something I almost never do, but I'm gonna try and how do you say, like incorporate a bunch of buildings into this ride, so you have a few more bits and pieces to look at while you're riding this. I barely ever do this, but I figured it would be a really fun challenge because, because I never do this. So it's really nice and interesting, something I don't do a lot. So I'm just placing some huts here and there. And at the end here, I wanted to have some sort of a final building here with some indoor theming, if you will. Didn't quite work out, but it's still okay-ish, as you can see. So I'm going to place some higher walls. And then I'm going to see if it's high enough. And from here on out, I'm going to place a roof because I want this to have multiple stories. So this is going to be a bit more complex, this structure here at the end. I'm just going to keep adding these walls here to make sure everything lines up. And of course some indoor theming with some masks and some waterfalls and whatnot and some different texture to make it a little bit more interesting. Like it's like kind of the final part of the slide, so I want there to be some nice theming or something like that. So I'm gonna make some, like I said, I'm gonna make the second floor here, using some basic pieces, you know, nothing too complicated, but yeah, I kind of like the way it looks. It really spices up the ride, and I really like the finished result, which you'll see in just a bit. So I'm going to try and make a few more huts here and a few more pieces that kind of, you know, make the ride a bit more interesting. So here I'm going to use some roof structures, some wooden panels and everything. And after a little bit of figuring out, I got it, and it's starting to look better and better if you ask me. I really like the design of this. It's something completely different than I normally do, and I'll try to use that more and more as I go along. So I'm going to use some sand here to really add to the tropical theming, and of course a couple of palm trees to really finish it up. And I really like the way this looks. Actually, I'm really happy with this. You know, I never make a slide like this, so I'm very happy with the way it turns out. And that's the fun of this challenge. I'm challenging myself to build roller coaster types that I would normally never use, and I would challenging myself to also use some theming that I would never use. So I'm going to save this, of course, because I really like the design very much. I might just upload this to RCT Go of Park Crafters. But yeah, for now I'm really happy with it. It looks great. It looks like something that could definitely be in a real park. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this design. Nice theming. I like the color scheme too. That kind of like cyan or light bluish. I forgot what color it is, but you know, in terms of like it works together nicely with the rest of the theming. So yeah, let's go ahead and ride this and see what it's like to go on the slide with all the theming. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the top, the first of the lower lift hill, if you will. I'm going to turn around here and we'll have our first drop. As you can see, the support's poking through a little bit. I can't do much about that. There we go. And the second one, nice little splash there. Oh, you can't see much of the hut there because of all the water. That's okay. Going to the bigger lift hill. So now I'm going to go to the top part of this track. And it takes a little bit of time to get there, but you know, all good things to those who wait. And here we go. And I turn around. Here comes the biggest drop of the slide. Oh yeah, that's nice. There we go. Kind of like an airtime hill, if you will. We turn around. Another drop here. Bit of an S-bend. Another drop. Nice quick turn here. Tiny little airtime hill. And then the final lift hill into that themed building. So let's see what that looks like. Here we go. The final drop. There's that nice themed building. And we can't see anything because of the water. No, that's okay. Alright, and there we go. That's the end. So yeah, I'm very happy with this. Really like the way it turned out. It's something different than the standard theming I use, you know, just a bunch of trees in a standard station. This one actually has a theme, and I'll really try to do that next time in the future designs. So for now, that's it. That's RST challenge number 7 in the pocket. I'll be back with challenge number 8. But until then, thank you very much for watching this video and have yourself a wonderful day.